Hello everybody and welcome to Game 2 of a 2-game series between BDE and Foxes in the League of Legends tournament being hosted by Badger Jelly over in the Steel Division 2 Bootcamp server. Remember that if you'd like to sign up, you still have until the 17th, that's 5 days from this recording, to sign up, get involved, get in there. No matter your commitment level, there's a option for everybody. However, let's jump right into the game. Now, the game did take place on Gora Kalwaria, same as the first time. However, the teams have swapped sides on the map as a lucky little tidbit from Eugen here. That said, they did decide to stay on the same factions. Foxes is still playing as allies, while BDE is still playing on Axis, though a few faces have changed here and there. Let's jump right into who's in this game and who isn't. We have IL2 ready for booty busting, who I will be referring to as IL2 from here on out. He is playing as 352nd Infantry. He's going to be going directly up against Shadow Perea, who is going to be playing 29th Tankovi. Just next to them, we have Rooster running up as 52nd Sishrung. He's going to be facing directly off against Farid Rommel, playing 15th Scots. Just next to them, we have Warwolf, who is going to be playing as Panzerverband Stravitz. He's going to be facing off against Farzido, and Farzido is going to be playing as 10th Guard Tankovi. Lastly, we have Le Tiger, also known as Von Odin in server. He's going to be playing as 12th SS Hitlerjugend. He's going to be facing directly off against Pontiff. Pontiff is going to be playing 97th Guard. Now, a few things stayed the same between the two games. Foxes are using a lot of familiar faces. We're seeing the 15th Scots, the 97th Guard, and the 10th Guard all coming out again. While on the Axis side, we only have one repeat division from the first game, and that's Panzerverband. Now, the change seems to have been in favor of bringing in a lot more IS-2s, but at a cost of a lot of their air power on Fox's side. Foxes lose 6th Airborne, so they're going to lose a lot of that Tempest control that it was providing, as well as a few other things that came in the artillery tab that were really helping them during Game 1. However, it looks like the Axis side, BDE this time, is really focused on taking down IS-2s. We have Hitlerjugend coming in with Panther Gs. We have Panzerverband coming in also with Panthers. 52nd Sishrung really not hugely in that tab of like dealing with IS-2s, but still a different choice. And we have 352nd Infantry with a lot of those long 88s to try and deal with those IS-2s also. So let's jump right into this. Let us break down what I'm seeing, how it's going. Again, same as last time, while I'm not going to be able to critique on all of this, this is 8 players, each doing unique things. I will do my best to get through all of them. However, if you'd like to check out the replay yourself, it will be in the description below. But without further ado, let's hop right into this game. Let's go ahead and hide this panel, and let's look what everything is going on. Had a bit of a recording faux pas there. Started it off at too fast of a speed. However, we will go ahead and slow it down to the slowest speed just for right now so that I can show you guys what's actually happening in this opening. We have IL2 coming in over here with a lot of the typical choices. SMG 42s coming up, PAC 40s coming up, Agnamachiki coming up from Shadow Perea, but no heavy tanks being used on either side over here. Stug 3s being the heaviest thing on this side. Otherwise, we have T-3476s, 1942s. Just next to him, we have Rooster coming up. A lot of infantry, PAC 40 coming up from Rooster, a few different MG 42s coming up to different areas. Again, no heavy-ish tanks coming up over here. Churchill 6, Avery being the heaviest thing we're seeing until we get over here to the Panther. Panther coming just down this main road, going to take up position over here against Warwolf here, who is bringing up a lot of Lukes. He's got Panzer IVs, he's got a lot of Panzer Grenadier coming up here to sort of take this area, though they're going to be embattled while they're doing it. And on the far left side, we have more Panzer IVs coming into Harry. The enemy bringing up a lot of the usual suspects. We're seeing PTRS 41s, we're seeing Agnamachiki, we're seeing the Hummers. It looks like a fairly decent 3-man push over here. We have Pontiff, Farid Rommel, and Farzido over here, just various elements from Farzido and Farid Rommel. Most of it is from Pontiff, but but quite a lot of aggression being put early over here, so we'll see how that works out for them. Let me go ahead and bring this back up to regular speed. Whoops, and I went right past it. Okay, back at regular speed, hitting the panel. We have a few different things going on here. All of these infantry are going to unload, take this engagement against the rifles. They are going to beat the rifles there, it looks like. However, them moving is going to aggro these Guardia into sort of an engagement that the Panzer Grenadier are not ready for. A lot of tank firepower coming up to sort of pin these guys down. They have not long for this world, it looks like. Over here on the far right, a lot of a stalemate occurring. Not much going on over here. Tank guns being set up, infantry being placed into various positions, but both players playing very timidly as of currently. Rooster also bringing in quite a few infantry across the entire field, and this is kind of a continuing theme. Rooster just has a sheer volume of troops that makes 15 Scott look a little silly. Panther gonna go ahead and take a few shots at this SMG-42, probably gonna pick it up with this shot, and the SMG-42 goes down. Warwolf currently holding this flag, but only barely with the SDK of Z251/17D. This flag really contested currently. A lot more of these Panzer Grenadier actually made it in here than I thought would. The Pioneers already coming into a kind of a shit show, as it were. Panther A coming up to sort of engage the enemy Panther. We will check back on that in a few moments. Over here on the right-hand side, the Tiger has managed to grab up his flag. Sort of things everywhere. Offclower sneaking around behind the lines of Tanko Desetniki. We have Ognamachiki and Sapri back over here. A lot of different things going on. FW-190 coming in, facing almost no air resistance, no anti-aircraft weapons being brought up for either team on this left-hand side. In fact, across most of this front until you get to Rooster's area where the Flak 36s are being used. On the right-hand side here, we're still seeing a lot of a stalemate. Mortars being brought up, and 88 was brought up, and a lot of artillery observers, it looks like. Probably just being used as forward recon and to get that radio in there for when he starts bringing in radio-guided artillery. In the middle here, Flak Truppen being brought up to fight against these rifles. Pack 40 going to begin opening up on these rifles with its HE. Probably a bad decision for that Pack 40, but we'll see how it works out for them. 107 mortar and an off-map carrier being brought in. In the middle area here, the Panther did get away from anything harrying it, including this Panther A, going to hide in this forest. Another Panther being brought up, as well as some 1943s, T-34-85s that is. Both flags on the left-hand side being in favor of Allies currently. 18-14 split in favor of the Allies. Panzer IV-H currently engaging along this front here. Gonna run into trouble if that ZIS-2 ever gets into range, but it looks like it's going to stop well outside of range. Pontiff bringing in yet more troops. Tanko Desetniki, a few other things. Offclower still sitting in this forest, weirdly. Ognamachiki still sitting back here. It's sort of a wonky front over here. Warwolf grabbing this flag a little forward. The Panzer IV-H is securing a kill on an enemy anti-tank gun. Farid Rommel noticing the same thing, pings an attack beacon, but there's simply too much here for those Guardia to deal with. This T-34 is being brought in to help this scenario. Typhoon 1B being used immediately by Farid Rommel, killing that Panther A. That's going to be a huge pickup for them. Typhoon immediately paying for itself, getting away without even a scratch on the paint. Over here on the right-hand side, an engagement has begun. Stug 3, as well as a bunch of SPWs and Martyrs sneaking through this forested area, looking to get a side view on their incoming spawn. ZIS-2 says no, though, begins opening fire on the Stug 3. Second shot kills the crew. Third shot should finish it. Oh, looks like one more shot will be required from the ZIS-2, bringing its total APCR shells down to 2. So that's going to be good if they ever make an engagement over there again against that. ZIS-3 is currently pinned down from the 88 1mm mortar. Over here in the middle, Rooster just flexing these Lithuanian muscles he has here, just running up on the rifles. Rifles almost powerless to stop this advance. Just being pinned down by the Pack 40 and just running infantry. Over here in the left forest, the sheer number of these infantry should be able to kill these Assault Pioneer, but that is not a favorable engagement to them. Defense ping going out over here again from Farid Rommel. Farzito bringing up 2 T-34s to try and stop it. However, there's a lot of Panzer IVs back here to unseat. Quite a few infantry over here from Pontiff. Just a sheer number of things. It is worth noting that Pontiff is playing 97th Guard. He is playing as balanced deployment, so they're both running into each other at the same deployment type. Both flags going in favor of Le Tiger early, 5 minutes into Phase A. 17-15 split in favor of the Axis. Pioneer and Wolkdeutsch being brought up on the right-hand side to sort of secure this forested area. Not much that can be done about it from Shadow. Shadow also playing an interesting deployment type, playing that Juggernaut deployment. So come Phase B, he's going to be down quite a few points. They're banking on that longer game, it looks like. Sturm Pioneer moving through, going to meet very little resistance in the form of the Strelki. In the middle over here, Rooster getting hit by his first off-map of the day. 13 seconds left for those 2 units. Looks like it will also catch these rifles, or the snipers, excuse me. However, 3 more squads of infantry coming up. Just the flak truppen costing only 15 points, and coming in at 15 people per squad is huge for Rooster over here in this area. SMG-42 pinning down these rifles, and flak truppen are just going to beat rifles for the most part. They just have more firepower in the form of having more weapons. And while the rifles do have better weapons, they are 5 points more expensive, so it's going to be a lot more of an investment for Farid to bring them in than it is for Rooster to bring in his flak truppen. Panzer IV is taking an engagement here. Both miss their shots against that T-34-76. T-34 does begin moving, though, before it takes its shot. 1 penetration on the T-34-76 is no trade. Over here in the middle, more things being brought up by Pontiff. Just Guardia everywhere in this city area. Shells coming down. However, these are Hitlerjugend. They're not going to surrender by any means, just because they do have that fanatical trait. A lot of Pioneers being brought up, probably to take this area here. Typhoon coming in. Probably going to get away with this one without any incident. Flak 36 opens fire, but not nearly enough to stop it from dropping its bombs. IG-18 goes down. On the far right-hand side, we have 81mm mortars coming down on this Maxim, try and stop it from pinning down these flak truppen in the open. Sturm Pioneer still cleaning up this forested area, and regular Pioneer going through this forest over here. Just cleaned up some flame troops. SVT going the way of the Dodo, and a Martyr 3 is going to begin engaging with the MG34. However, not before the SVT throw their grenade, killing the Martyr 3. That's going to be a pretty big pickup on their way out. 75mm guns being brought in by Rooster, being used currently to pin down the enemy dozer here, probably stop them from being able to see all of these infantry. Pioneer and SDKFZ 251s that carried them in, beginning their engagement on the Tanko Desetniki. However, the M2A1 is going to be unfazed by these 251s. One flag is still in favor over here of Le Tiger. However, Farzito has managed to grab this flag back, in fact securing this Panzer IV kill without trading anything. The T-34-85 securing that for them. Beginning their push into this area, the Panzer IV does grab the injured T-34-76, and the MG-34 are going to begin opening fire on the Sappery, but it will likely be the last mistake those MG-34 make. Still 2 Panthers sitting in the middle, pinning down this entire middle area. No heavy tanks being brought up by Warwolf in this area to sort of contest these Panthers. Farzito just having his way with this middle area and having his heavy tanks everywhere. Avery is also being brought up by Farid Rommel, one of them brought over here to secure this area. I personally think the Avery is kind of a trap. It takes forever to fire. It is a very close ranged unit, but it can be used to great effect, especially in this area, being that there's not much that can contest it. Huge front armor on that unit. 75mm guns currently being used to fire once again at this side over here, trying to clean up these dozer, not having much luck yet. Flak truppen engaging rifles in the open area here. Defense ping goes out from Farid Rommel. More Typhoons coming in, getting away, a little bit scratched, but not by much. Ziz 3 begins falling back from the MG-30 or 42, excuse me, I can't speak. A lot of forests going in favor of IL-2. He's sort of just doing this slow advance, this slow push over this right-hand side, and 29th Tankovi seems almost powerless to stop it. No Jagdpanther in sight yet, but same, we're not seeing any IS-2s. Being that it's Juggernaut deployment, it's likely that he doesn't have any until Phase B, or at the very latest, Phase C, obviously. On the left here, ooh, Typhoon coming in to bomb the Panzer IV. Again, just getting away with murder. These Typhoons coming at 3 per card in Phase A, and they are proving themselves to be a real nuisance for the Axis team. They've come in several times now, killing various units. FW-190 trying to replicate that same success, taking out the Ziz 2 that was a little injured already. Pioneer currently taking an engagement. They did toss the grenade. Both are pinned down. Pioneer in no danger of surrendering. SPW 231's coming in to help secure this left-hand side. IS-1 Komrodi, that's the first heavy tank we've seen over here on the left, being brought in to secure this area. It is going to have no problem cleaning up this Panzer IV when it pokes its head out. Panzer Grenadier beginning their push across this open area, engaging Tanko Desaniki outside of the Tanko's range. That's going to be a huge pickup if they're able to grab it. Another Typhoon, this time an ASF coming in, this time to try and grab the Ju-87 that did secure the kill on the Panther A. Typhoon grabs the Ju-87, goes down. Typhoon going to make it out without a scratch. Rooster currently fighting over here, getting shelled fairly significantly, keeping his troops all pinned down. However, Rooster is just sort of being abated for a time. His units are not dying to these shells nor to the off-map, they're just sort of being slowed down. Eventually, Farid is going to have to deal with the reckoning that is all of these troops that have just sort of been building up. Off-Clower Panther D coming up over here from Rooster. Going to be kind of in a dangerous spot if the 6-pound gun moves up, but it's not moving up quite yet. Strelky beginning their push across the open area over here. However, that is going to be stopped by the Panther, it looks like. On the far right, this slow, steady push that IL-2 is putting forward is still happening. Jagd Panther being brought up, currently engaging against the Maxim. We are 2 minutes and 11 seconds into Phase B. We are seeing our first IS-2 come in over here. IS-2 Komrodi. Likely being brought in, same purpose as the Jagd Panther, to sort of secure this open area, maybe even get super lucky and grab that Jagd Panther with its 200 millimeters of penetration. The IS-2, if it hits the Jagd Panther, has a fairly good penetration chance against it. The Jagd Panther does have a better engagement at that range though with the long ED8. On the left-hand side, FW-190 getting stunned out by the M17 and the Dushka on this transport here. SPW-231 seeing to the end of this M2A1. However, all of these Panzer Grenadier currently falling back. The city still remains in control of Pontiff. Score is currently 18-14 in favor of the Allies. 17-15 before I could even finish that sentence. This city seems to be a point of huge contention. The Avery is currently being used to just shell away at this area. Just being used sort of the same way you would use a Sturmtiger. Yak-1B is coming in, sort of getting damaged, getting banged up. They're smoking in the end, but one of them does get its bombs off, and they do manage to secure the kill on that. Looks like just one kill currently. Panzerschreck kind of hiding away from these Guardia for good reason. The Guardia will tear it off the planet. IS-2 goes down right as we look over here. Jagd Panther gets lucky, pings the shot off the front armor. That is one IS-2 down over on the right hand side. Presuming that Shadow brought them in Phase B, that is one of his two IS-2 Komrodis in this phase. Panther D on really close quarters over here with the Strelky. If the Strelky get lucky and beat these Tar, they're going to run forward and blow that up with their grenade, but let's hope for the best and see that that doesn't happen. Panther D over here also engaging against a 6-pound gun and an unlucky Rifles Piat on the side. Rifles Piat fire, and through some twist of fate actually managed to pick up the Panther D. Over here on the left hand side, the Tiger has managed to secure this front, grabbing a few more FW-190s and doing a few more bombing runs. This one almost being turned away by the M17, the other one being completely turned away, but not before it drops its bombs on the Ziz-2 there. Typhoon coming in from Farid Rommel, proving that 15th Scots still has air superiority over this area. IS-1 being used to pin down the last of the HG Pioneer, or the HJ Pioneer, excuse me. Rooster's units now moving forward unabated. The off-map seems to be out of ammo. The 107s are also running really low on supplies. So all of these troops that have kind of been building up back here just sort of left to begin their advance. Typhoon coming in, getting away with murder once more against the Pak-36. On the right-hand side, the Field Jäger have begun to come up. Panther D being used at very close quarters. Very frightening where this is, just in conjunction with the units, but it is being used to great effect in that regard. Feldjäger being brought up to keep all of these. It looks like no conscripts yet, but maybe is thinking about bringing in conscripts to keep them from falling back, or maybe just using the Feldjäger for their sniper rifle. Jagdpanther has begun to shell more of this Maxim, sort of being used to press this advantage. T-34 has nothing it can do against the Jagdpanther, especially not with the 88 right behind it and the Pak-40 right here. Sort of kind of boxed in. Off-map being called by IL-2 shortly before he buys the 381 or 380 millimeter off-map. On the left-hand side, we have Panzer Force currently engaging against the Guardia DP, trying to secure the kill. We have Panzer Grenadier also engaging those same people with the MG42. Guardia DP coming in. Tiger is incapable of securing the kill on those before they are able to unload. FW-190 also coming in for the bombing run. Likely going to get away unmolested. But not if Pontiff has anything to say about it with this Cobra. Cobra coming in, probably too slow to catch the FW-190, and he agrees it's evacing before it gets there. SU-122 just went down in the middle to the Tiger E, and a lot of infantry being brought up. However, for Frommen coming down, likely going to catch a lot of these infantry out. Nothing really to press this advantage to catch all these surrenders, but one Guardia squad does go down. All the others are stunned, and lastly, all of the ones in the forest are stunned before they were able to actually get to the front lines. On the right-hand side, the ME-109 being brought in. It is going to fall back to the sheer amount of Browning guns that are available over here, as well as the 37 mils. Typhoon again getting away with murder, killing the Sturm Pioneer, but it looks like Rooster's sheer amount of things are beginning to push in here. Farid agrees. He's bringing up a ton of rifles to try and stop this Lithuanian onslaught, but it might be too little too late. Just the amount of troops here is a little unnerving. Tiger E being brought up over here on the left-hand side to kind of box this IS-1 in. This IS-1 taking an engagement at that range would actually be very dangerous against the Tiger E. Something like a 1,200 meter engagement. The Tiger might have an advantage there, and the IS-1 really does not have the advantage. Same gun as the T-34-85-1943, and so it lacks that APCR that would make it deadly to the Tiger E. Over here, we have another Typhoon coming in. Just flying in willy-nilly, getting away with murder. Flag 36 is incapable of moving up just because of the artillery and because of the frontline units, so it's not going to stop very many of these bombing runs from going off. Over here on the right, the sheer amount of off-map. Ooh, off-map goes down over here, taking out that T-34 and Guardia squad that were hiding inside this forest. Sapri already being up to plug that hole. However, the flag does swing in favor of the Axis, 1814 in favor of BDE. A lot of conscripts being brought up by Rooster. He's going to sweep through this area, especially before that armored support gets there from Shadow. Shadow in his weakest phase right now. We're almost 9 minutes into phase B, where he is only making 115 points a tick versus 135, 20 points a tick less than his opposition, and he is being double teamed over here. Shadow currently fighting over here against Rooster's sheer velocity of units and the slow but steady advance of IL-2. Nothing he can do about it. Typhoon's being bought instead of coming over there to his aid, and the Typhoons are getting away with murder, but it might be not enough if they lose too many of their flags over here. Flag does go back in favor, 15-17 Axis at 9 minutes into phase B, almost phase C now. Pioneer are going to be outnumbered over here, might get their grenade off, did get the grenade off. That's going to be a huge grenade if those keep moving. Ooh, it was devastating. A little bit more and they would have all begun falling back. Tiger E is being brought up at the same time as the IS-1. However, there's a forest in the way, not going to be able to stop each other. Flag flips in favor, 16-16 split at the turn of phase C. Typhoon being brought in again, likely just getting away with the same murder it's been getting away with this entire time. Turning Rooster's conscripts away, another Typhoon coming in, this time from more conscripts. Heavy bombers just really wrecking all of these conscripts, but at 15 points apiece, it's almost unnoticeable. Let's see if it does add up for them. Over here on the right, Jagdpanther is in kind of an embattled area. If this T-34 gets a side shot on it, it is going to be deadly. However, it looks like the Wolfdeutsch will grab the stun on the Tanko Komrodi. There is a Stug 3 here that he will likely push through first, and the Panzer 38T is in the background over here. Strelke getting pinned down by the Me-109 fighter bomber. Yak-1B is coming in over here on the left-hand side, as well as a fighter. Oh, the fighter is evacing. IS-2 1944 is being brought in, currently engaging Tiger E. Wittmann. Might even pick him up. This is a really favorable engagement for the IS-2. Wittmann goes down. So does one of the Yak-1Bs. Looks like the other one might also go down. Orwolf bringing in the 203mm off-map plane to suppress this area with all these Guardian in it. The other Yak-1B does go down. Su-85 is being brought up over here. Likely going to be a problem for these Panther Gs if they continue on this road here. On the right-hand side here, 17-pound gun doing what it can to stop these guys before they unload. However, there are just so many troops over here from Rooster. Pak-36 and MG-32 go down to the Typhoons. These light fighter bombers just getting away with whatever they want this game. Rooster bringing in another volley of these conscript units to put more pressure on these flags over here. Shadow having not much in the way of things to deal with this. We see another IS-2 coming in. However, there are currently 2 Jagd Panthers as well as the Flak 41 and some Pak-40s in various locations being brought up. Ooh, transmission damage going in from the APCR in the 1944 there. Maybe even scoring a penetration. Hard to tell. Over here on the left-hand side, the IS-1 pushing their advantage, as well as the IS-2s just sort of hovering around the outsides. IS-2 getting a good look down this corridor here, probably going to, immediately takes 3 members of that SMG-42 squad. FW-190 coming in, trying to secure the kill on this IS-1, maybe getting away unmolested. The IS-1 goes down to the bombing run. Another 37 coming in, Pontiff saying he's had enough of the aircraft coming in for him. Tiger E and Panther sort of boxing these Su-85s in that he might know about. Studebaker's coming in droves. Where are these guys going? To all the 120mm mortars. 2 Typhoon Mark 1Bs and the bigger, badder version of it coming in to help out over here on the right. The slow but steady advance is going to have to be a little bit slower as Farid Rommel does turn away a lot of those units. Jagd Panther currently engaging this IS-2 at a really favorable engagement for the Jagd Panther. However, he is backing away, doesn't want to risk it. In the mid right here, Rooster still pressing the advantage of flesh over the 15 Scots, which is a huge departure from reality. Typically, you see these rifles as the sort of flesh option for this wave strategy. However, the 52nd Sicherung really showing its value in the amount of conscripts it's able to bring forth over here. Left side is still very embattled, very contested over here. 2 IS-2s, one of them down to its last AP shell as the Panther Gs start sneaking their way forward. IS-2, misses its chance to get a good shot. Smoke blocking the way so that Le Tiger is able to get these guys into position. More Typhoons coming in over here on the right hand side. Typhoon's gonna bomb practically everything. We're seeing bombs go down, Pioneer go down, a few other things, but that was actually one of the least lethal bombing runs that we've seen so far from Farid Rommel. Panther A being used on this road very effectively to pin down Strelke. Guardia coming in to try and do what they can against the sheer swarm of Rooster's Legionnaires and his conscript units, but nothing can be done, it seems. Tiger E currently being used to box the 17-pound gun. 17-pound gun grabs 1 penetration. FW-190 ATAC 8 coming in to try and grab the stun on it, and does so, saving the Tiger's life. Cobra coming in to grab the FW-190. FW-190 might be too fast, doesn't look like it. P-39 gets right on the rear, takes it down. On the left-hand side, we have IS-2s still pinning down this open area. Likely the only 2 we're going to see. They were brought in Phase B, meaning there are only 2 per card. This guy's still light on AP ammo, so if this Panther G decides to make its move, it's going to be in a very good advantage. On the right-hand side, Rooster still pushing these advantages. Farzito bringing in 3 T-34 1942s to stop this herd of infantry, but where Rooster sends his conscripts, there are also Panzerschrecks just covering the earth. It's going to be a very dangerous minefield for these T-34s. Ooh, Nebelwerfer 41 going off to try and grab grabs a Studebaker and a 120mm. It's going to be a huge pickup for the Nebelwerfer. AA getting stunned out over here. Verframen ready to fire whenever they are ready to do so. 8 rounds in this IS-2 now. A Studebaker being brought up by Pontiff to resupply it. More Flak 37 or Zenart 37s being brought up also to stop these Zenarts. Tiger on Tiger action going on over here. 1 penetration on each, it looks like currently. Tiger T6 is going to reload first. It looks like Werewolf is betting on the miss. However, it is not to be. Tiger T6 picks up the Axis Tiger. FW-190 coming in to try and bomb out some more of these troops. However, getting away with it for some reason. All of these killing more Axis troops, it looked like, than Allied ones. However, exposing this 37mm gun for the Panthers to take care of. Panthers being able to get into this area here is going to be very dangerous for this IS-2. Ooh, and it was holding fire. The new efficient shot coming to show its ugly face. 13-19 in favor of the Axis currently. Slow but steady advance still going on over here from IL-2. Another IS-2 being brought up. Last one presumably being killed by the Edge Panther. 88mm grabbing the Ziz-2 before it's able to unload. Just a volume of guns being brought up on the side here. Once these are all in position, there's almost going to be no stopping this entire advance. 17-pound gun being brought up over here to try and slow down the Act Panthers, but IL-2 not being too risky with them. Typhoons coming in again, likely to stop this field of bodies. 2 Legionary squads, 4 Legionary squads. A few stuns here and there. Farid Rommel still using these to great effect. More of them coming in over here, bombing Pack 40, getting a few fallbacks here and there. However, this one is going to fall back before it's able to drop its munitions. Every time these Typhoons are up, we're seeing a lot of lethality from Farid Rommel. He's getting a lot of kills, scoring a lot of actual good things. However, we're not seeing it slow down the Axis advance much. 11-21 split in favor of the Axis. Seemingly the Juggernaut deck not faring too well, having been sort of shut down in Phase B, and IL-2 just trading very, very efficiently with all of his units. We're still seeing a lot of units from earlier phases. Stug 3 takes a shot at the DP before they're able to unload. Does not grab them, it looks like. Typhoon coming in, but it looks like the enemy anti-aircraft pressure from the Axis is starting to get too much for the Typhoons to make bombing runs by themselves. They're going to have to come in groups, or they're going to have to deal with a lot of this AA before they're able to bomb more things. Over here on the left-hand side, we are seeing a more concerted effort by Le Tiger to hold these flags. We're seeing both of these flags go in favor of the Axis. IS-2 did go down here, it looks like. Believe exposing side armor to something, it seems, as it is currently on fire. IS-2 sneaking through the forest here. Artillery grabbing a hold of that. Ooh, the Panther G. However, the Tiger E bounces a front armor shot at a little over 500 meters against the IS-2. IS-2 going to have no problem finishing off this Tiger, but not before taking 1 penetration of its own from the 88, bringing the IS-2 down to 4 hit points. So most anything that penetrates it past this point is going to do lethal damage to the IS-2. Another PE-2 being brought in, this time to bomb the MG-42. Not much in the way of AA presence that's going to stop it, but maybe they'll be able to kill it on its way out. The 3 Flak 36s and the Verbelwind being a very deadly combination. Verbelwind is in a bad spot though. It's not able to get its firing off until the PE-2 is already evacuating. FW-190 coming in to try and bomb out the IS-2, but the IS-2 is already backing up, Pontiff having seen this coming. Farid Rommel, or excuse me, Le Tiger coming in, bombing this M2A1 to death, also banking on the IS-2 remaining there, but no luck, just getting that M2A1. IL-2 has managed to grab this side up. Pack 43 coming in to sort of pin this IS-2 in yet further. 29th Tankovi really at a disadvantage against 352nd, just the sheer amount of long 88s that they have access to. Farid Rommel pinging a Strelky DP squad, but the Strelky are going to be able to do nothing against this pile of infantry over here that Roosters brought in. Still a Pack 208 over here, taking side shots at things Farid Rommel's bringing in, and just the sheer amount of bodies still putting pressure over here, still keeping Farid's attention from helping his allies, just through the amount of things he's having to kill. Off-map strike coming in, falling back a lot of his units, but Rooster intelligently moves this Panther A out of position to take that off-map. Panther A being used over here to fight a few different things. Tiger coming up might grab the Panther A, grabs the penetration but does not grab the Panther A. Tiger goes down. It might be, in fact I think it is, that was all of the, one Tiger remaining, it looks like. IS-2 being brought up, as well as the off-map riverboat. This riverboat will be very deadly if it's used on this side in the right spot, but it's going to be very tricky to retake this side. Arjusha coming in for the Panther G. Panther G does not notice it in time. These are going to strike home. Oh, but maybe not enough. Panther G just shrugging off most of it. This one's going to be the closest. Falls it back, but does not kill it. Ooh, there's the secure. Panther G goes down to the Arjusha. With the Arjusha having killed that, there's only a few other things on this front to stop Red from just rushing through. 11-21 split. They have 4 minutes and 43 seconds to make their play, or the Foxes will lose game 2. Panzervector coming up to sort of grab another one of Farzito's T-34-76s. These T-34s being used very well by Farzito. They're, in fact, I remember from game 1 they were being used very well also, just to pin down these open fields. However, Rooster's having none of it, just has so many more Panzerschrecks than any deck I've ever seen, and they're really working for him. A lot of infantry going down to the Typhoons there, but the AA has begun to move up. 37 rounds left in that Flak 36, 4 minutes left on the timer, 12 minutes into Phase C. All of these things being pinned down by Panthers, Jagdpanthers, you name it. All of these things. Oh, Jagdpanther shrugs the shot, doesn't even take it to the front armor, begins returning fire. That is one penetration on the IS-2. Jagdpanther reloads faster and has already zeroed in its shots. Ooh, but the IS-2 bounces the shot. Let's see if he does it. IS-2 taking a shot. Nope. Misses the second shot, likely due to stress damage. Goes down to the Jagdpanther. Typhoons coming in again. We saw that they were almost out of ammunition on some of these AA guns, and this one has run completely dry. Panther A taking 3 bombing runs right to the face, shrugging them all off though. Looks like he did take them all to the front armor. This city has gone back in favor of Warwolf. However, the off-map riverboat coming down, decimating this area here, not securing the flag though. The mobile wagon and the battery here are keeping that flag under control. PE2 coming in, getting an uncontested bombing run at the same time as the IS-2 1944 grabs a Panther G. There is a T-34 1943 rush coming up on the left-hand side, gonna grab up this Flak 36. FW-190 is already flown and evac'd, so there's not going to be anything it can do about this situation. They're coming into the back lines for all of these mortars and whatnot. Another FW-190 coming in to try and fall back one of them, but likely too little too late for these guys. Guardia are coming in right into the Panzer Grenadier. Panzer Grenadier are going to try and kill one, maybe even they get 2. No, they do unload first. Panzer Grenadier are still going to be at a severe advantage here. Guardia are out in the open, do not have any defensive buffs from that. Over on the right hand side, IL-2 pressing its advantage yet further. We see a joint effort from IL-2 and from Rooster, moving Wolfdeutsch and Flak-Truppen through this forested area. Strelke almost powerless to stop them with the help of the Stostrup. Panther A really abusing this open sightline here, with Big Daddy Jagdpanther always there to help if it runs into an IS-2 that it can't deal with. But the Panther A is more than able to help itself in that scenario. ME-109 evacuating before Farid Rommel's Typhoon comes in. The Foxes have brought it back to a 14-18 split, down to a single tick. This is down to 4 minutes 30 seconds left in the game. Panthers taking shots. One of them goes down to the 122. The other is going to fall back, but not before falling back its own 122. 122 shell comes in, maybe grabs, and does grab the Panther A. That was an incredible Arjusha strike. The tides have turned over here on the left. However, that is not going to be enough to stop the right-hand side from rolling through, bringing us back to that double tick, 11-21 in favor of the Axis. That is a 1 minute and 50-second timer left on the game. Farid Rommel bringing in more Typhoons and another off-map strike on top of these Panthers and other things. Both rockets going off. Panther goes down. That's going to leave an MG42 as the only thing holding down this area. 10-22 split in favor of Axis. FW-190 coming in and Le Tiger making concerted effort to take this area back. However, Pontiff says no, brings in more PE2s to bomb out these troops back here. This bombing run is going to be phenomenal at stopping these units from achieving this force, but does not secure any kills. On the right-hand side, we're seeing more Typhoons come in, however, being turned away this time by the Flak 36s. Ziz-2 set up on the field back here, trying to stop this Jagd Panther any way they can. Panther coming up for a very dangerous engagement against the Ziz-2s. Jagd Panther just taking shots into the distance, hoping to grab one of those T-34s that are in a worthless engagement with them. 50 seconds left on the clock, 10-22 split in favor of BDE. Another Typhoon strike coming in, 2 of them coming for this Panther. They do grab it. Emergency off-map coming down over here on the left. This is going to be significant for these guys, though these others might move out of it in time if they continue at their current pace. The side is beginning to flop back in favor of the Axis, but maybe not. Maybe it won't matter. 20 seconds left on the clock. IS-2 Komrodi from Phase B coming in, but too little too late over on this front. The Jagd Panther did go down at some point over here, so this area is open for the most part, other than this Flak 88. But I think it's going to be too little too late for the IS-2. 12-20 split, and BDE wins the second game in the 2-game series with a minor defeat. All in all, that is going to be 37-10 to 24-20 for Farid Rommel. Pontiff sitting at 39.85 to 31.85. Farzito coming in at 31.55 and 36.75. And lastly for the Allies, Shadow Puria coming in at 14.25 to 45.10. For the Axis, we had Lee Tiger coming in at 31.15 to 40.90. Warwolf coming in at 31.50 to 34.55, Rooster coming in 42.25 to 38.45, and lastly IL-2 coming in with a very impressive 32.10 to 9.70. We saw a lot of really good plays from both sides, but I think honestly what happened was the slow but steady advance of IL-2 and the fact that Shadow was down a lot of points in Phase B really led to that eventual collapse on that side. 29th Tank just having absolutely nothing it can do against the number of long 88s it was facing down from the Axis side. Panzerverband just having more Panthers able to send up than 10th Guard is, so it was just a matter of time before all of the Panthers and Tigers from 10th Guard went down also. 97th Guard using those IS-2 1944s to great effect, actually doing quite a lot of damage over there on the left-hand side with them. However, although he was able to grab those 2 forward flags, it was too little too late with the IS-2 and T-34 rush. The Panther Gs just sort of cleaning that up anyway. Over on the right middle, we saw Farid Rommel trying his best to help out his allies here and there with the Typhoons, but constantly having to redirect his attention to Rooster, who ended up top fragging this match with 4,225 kills. Just the sheer amount of conscripts that he had all over the map was really impressive. They were really putting a lot of pressure onto both Farid Rommel, forcing his attention there, and to Shadow really helping hammer home that Phase B advantage that IL-2 had. And IL-2's incredible trading throughout this game probably won that game for them. However, everybody in this game did do a fantastic job. I'd like to say GG to both teams. All that said, that is going to do it for Game 2. That means that the split is currently 1 game in favor of Foxes, 1 game in favor of BDE. Once again, great job to all 12 players that participated in these matches throughout both games, and thank you for watching.